This lesson, we're going to be going over some tools that we're going to be using in the upcoming lessons that are going to make things a little bit more interesting. So first tool that we want to use is Postman. You can go to getpostman.com, or you could add it as a Chrome extension. I've already added it as a Chrome extension, so I can go ahead and I can open this up. So it's just opening up in another window. And what this does is this allows us to send AJAX, so get and posts. So when you log into Postman, you can just open up a brand new post there, and what I'm going to do is I'll just grab all of this. We add in the URL, we just do send, and what happens is we get a nice output of all of that data. So we can then look through it. So basically it allows us to do AJAX requests using this application, and we could also, it's very helpful for troubleshooting as well. So that was just a demonstration of one of the tools that we're going to be using. The other tool that we're going to be using is going to be Google Scripts. So Google Scripts comes by default with Google applications. So every application has access to scripts, and if you want to use it connected to a Google Sheet, you can just go to Tools and Script Editor. So that's Tools, Script Editor, open that up, and what this does is it opens up Google scripting environment. So it opens up the editor. So I'm going to call this JSON+AJAX. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to allow us to create a web app and run server-side code, which is actually already going to be connected really easily to the Google Sheet. And there's another way to get Google Scripts as well. So you can always go to google.com script/start scripting, and that will open up a brand new project as well. So there's a number of different ways to access your editor, and basically what it does is it's a JavaScript cloud-based scripting environment. So if you're familiar with JavaScript, you should be able to really pick it up really easily and make good use of Google Script in order to do a bunch of amazing things. You can automate your tasks with Google products. You can bring in third-party services, build web applications. There's just a ton of stuff that you can do with it. And it's very versatile, and you can really do a lot. And if you are familiar with JavaScript, then it should be fairly easy to migrate and start working with it. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you how to create a simple web application. So that's going to be one of the first things that we need to do in order to actually access our output. And the way that scripts works, so there's a publish here, so you can deploy anything as a web app. And for web apps, so you can just erase that default function. And there are some default functions that actually fire off whenever you launch the web application. And the one is do get. So once we publish it and we output some content here, then this will be outputting it as do get. So let me show you how you can really easily output content. So you can do something like return, and then they've got a bunch of methods. So the one that we need to look at is content service. So there's content service, and it's going to do create. And it also gives you hints here as well as you're typing. So we want to create text output, and you can see that the format is string content that we can output here. So let's do a typical hello world string value. And that's it. So now we can go ahead and we can publish it, deploy it as a web app. So for this exercise, in order to access it from any application, we need to put it as anonymous. So that's anyone, even anonymous. So those are users that aren't logged into Google accounts, because obviously our front-end application isn't going to do an OAuth and it's not going to log into the application. So you do have to be a little bit cautious when you are creating these applications, because you are opening it up to the web. So they're really powerful, but also take caution as well as you're sharing these applications. So what it does is when you deploy it as a web application, it basically gives you a URL. So you can go ahead, you can copy that URL out, paste it in there, and we see that there's our hello world. So that's being rendered out, and that's visible. So anyone going to this really long URL is going to be able to see the hello world. You also have two different versions. So you have the current executed version, so that's got EXEC there. And there's also a dev version. So that one has, at the end of it, it's got an extension of dev, but this is a redirect. So what they do is when it builds out the content, it actually redirects the user to another visible page. But if you hover over it, you can see that it's got an extension. At the end of it, it's got /dev. So that's the difference. And the dev one is the latest code. If you want the executable one, then you've always got to publish a new version of your project. So I hope that wasn't a whole lot of stuff to go through. And of course, I'm going to be copying and sharing a link to the Google Sheet with all of the script that you need in order to get started with all of the projects and the upcoming lessons. So you can take advantage of that and simply link out to that and go into Tools, Script Editor, and you're going to be able to see and copy out all of the scripts, as well as I'm including all of the source code as well. So you don't have to learn Google Script, but it is a really useful tool to know. And of course, we're going to be sharing all of the source code. It's JavaScript based, so we're going to try to do minimal functionality within the Google script in order to get our outputs, because the main purpose of this course, of course, is that AJAX connection from the web applications. But in order to use the AJAX JSON spreadsheet effectively, we do need a little bit of back-end server-side scripting that's going to really help us out along the way with this project. So go ahead now, try this out for yourself, and open up a Google spreadsheet, go to Tools, go to Script Editor, and under Do Get, type in Content Service, create text outputs, that's the method, and then go ahead and publish it, deploy it as a web application. And if you're interested in finding out more about Google Scripts, they've got amazing documentation. So if you go to developers.google.com, App Scripts, they've got reference information. So they've got basically what we've done over here, where we created that text output. And you can really easily serve up output text there. You can also specify the meme type, which we are going to be doing later on, as we're going to want to output our content as JSON format. So you can always specify that content meme type. There's a number of different meme types. The one that we're going to be using obviously is going to be JSON, but you do have a bunch of options. There's also more information about different Google services that are available. If you want to go through, you can also go through the G Suite. So there's Document, Spreadsheet, Slides, Gmail. So any one of these, and they have their own classes and methods that are attached to them that are more specific for those ones. So there's a lot of real great details here as well. And the spreadsheet ones, some of them we are going to be making use of because we are trying to connect to that spreadsheet data. So more on this coming up in the next lesson. So go ahead and try this out, open up the scripts, and create a really simple return with the content server. And next lesson, we're going to dive deeper into this, and I'll show you how you can actually output some of this for content in JSON format, and then we're going to pick it up from our web application and output it in our page. So all of this is coming up.